Hi everyone, so we're carrying on with Venn diagrams today. So we're starting off with a bit of a recap, and we're going to be looking at set notation. So this counts as set notation, though when we saw it before it was more probability notation. So P of A just means the probability of A. So on a Venn diagram, that would be anything that happens within the circle that represents A. So that'll be anything in this circle. There's also P of not A, so when it's A dash, that's not A. So there's anything that is not in the A circle. So that is anything outside of that. So that's this section here. So those are the ones that we've seen before. So the key bit here being the not notation. And you'll notice as well there's no crossover with A and not A, because they're mutually exclusive events. So you couldn't have something that was both A and not A, because if A happens, that means that not A has not happened. Okay, so set notation. The next one we're going to look at is union. So we write this as A union B, so it's this U symbol. And what this means is that A or B, or both. So it's either in the A section, the B section, or the both section. So P of A union B on a Venn diagram would be anything in A, anything in B, or anything that is in both. So it's this section, and this section. So A union B is anything where A or B happens. So looking over here, we've got P of A union B, but then we've got this not here as well. So this is the probability of not A union B. So we represent that. We've worked out already what A union B looks like. So probability of not A union B is anything that is not in that shaded area from the first one. So that would be anything that is not in either circle. So shaded that in now. So anything not in the section that we looked at before. And you can tell that this is A union B not, because the not symbol is outside of the brackets. So you could also have it here, and that would be A union not B. So you've got to be careful with whether the dash is in or outside the brackets. Okay, so last one of the set notation, this is intersection. And so this is it's like an N or an upside down U. So this is an intersection symbol. So this means it's A and B. So where the one before was A or B, this one's A and B. So on a Venn diagram, the section where A and B happen, that's this crossover here. So it's just this bit. And it's quite easy to remember this one because it's the intersection of A and B. So you can see it's where A and B cross over, or where they intersect. So now let's have a look over here. So we've got the intersection of not A and B. So what I do normally when I'm working out intersection is I'll draw out the first one. So not A, that is anything that is not in the circle A. So anything that is not in the A circle. So that could also be this bit here, because that bit isn't in the A circle, but we couldn't have the crossover section because that is in A. So we've got our not A section. Now we need to also work out what the B section is. So it's the intersection of what we've got so far and B. So B will cross out, we'll sort of go the other way now so we can see where B is. So this is the intersection with not A and B. So it's where not A and B cross over. And we can see that because that's now double shaded. So that bit is the intersection of not A and B. So it's a little bit different, this one, but there's quite a lot of just sort of practicing with the shading. So we'll do some practice on that now. Oh, one extra thing, there's no crossover with A and not A, like we saw before. So what that tells us is the intersection of A and not A is always 0. So there's never a crossover between A and not A. So that means that the probability of A intersection not A, that is always 0, because there's no crossover there, so it's 0. So let's do some practice now. So what I would do is pause the video now and have a think about what each one is going to look like. I'm going to go through them on the video, but I would pause now and just have a think about each one of these. So maybe pause it, have a think about it, and then watch the example, and then go through, check it, and sort of do one at a time. So I'm about to go through this first one, so if you want to pause and have a think about what this one would look like, do that now. So this one, no new set notation, it's just probability of B, so it's anything in the B circle. So that is this section here. We can kind of ignore A for that one. Okay, so I'm going to go through this one next, so if you want to pause and have a think about it. So probability of not A, that is anything not in the A circle. So that is all of this stuff outside. Again, B's not really mentioned, so we can kind of just ignore B. So anything not in the A circle, so anything not in this circle here. Obviously a bit neater. Okay, so next one, probability of A intersection not B. So for this one you might want to do what I did before and do it in sections at a time. So first thing, let's shade in A. So we've got the whole of A there, I'm just going to ignore B for that bit. And it's where that intersects with not B. So not B is anything not in the B circle. So that would be any of this. And so now we're looking for the bit that is double shaded, and that is this section here. So I just thoroughly shade that in. So A intersection not B is this bit here. So it's the bit where A intersects with the not B section. So this is these sort of ones are where the double cross hatching makes it quite clear which is which. Okay, so probability of not A union B. So we're doing union now, not intersection. So this is both. So not A, we've got anything not in the A circle. So that also includes this section of B. And then it's the union of that and B. So we're going to add in any parts of B that have not already been added. So that adds this bit. So even though this section is in A, that is fine, because this is the union of that and B. So we first do not A, then we add anything else that is in the second one. So we're adding this section of B. So what we've got there is the probability of not A union B. So when it's two things, I'll do it one at a time. Okay, so probability of A intersection B. This one's a bit easier, so it's just the crossover of A and B. Then we've got the probability of A union B. That is all of A added with B. So that is just the whole thing there. And the last one, probability of not A intersection not B. So we've got not A is all of this. We've also got this. So we've got not A. So let's do not B, but let's shade in the other direction. So not B is anything that is not B. Okay, so we can see that this section and this section, they're only single shaded. So our answer is anything of this outside section, which is the double shaded bit. So we've got our double shaded section around the outside. So the probability of not A intersection not B is the dark shaded bit on the outside. So it's doing it one step at a time and looking for the double shaded section. Okay, so let's do an example with some numbers and let's see how this goes. So first thing, we've got our Venn diagram and it shows these sets. So the universal set, so all the numbers together, is the integers from 1 to 12. So whole numbers from 1 to 12, that is what we need to put in our square, our rectangle, sorry. A, that is the integers that are less than 8, and B is the odd integers. So we're going to fill in the numbers 1 to 12, and we're going to put all the ones that are integers less than 8 in A, and we're going to put the integers that are odd in B, and there'll be some crossover as well. So if you want to pause and have a think about this, I'd do so now. If you're happy for me to just show you the answer, then keep watching the video. So we've filled in our table, so we've got 1 is odd and less than 8, 2 is just less than 8, 3 odd and less than 8, 4 is just less than 8 but not odd, and so on, and we've filled in our Venn diagram. So I would just start on 1, go through them one at a time, think which section does it belong in. So now the next thing to do, we're going to find A union B. And we've not got a P here, so it's not going to be a probability, it's going to be a set. So it's going to be a set of numbers we end up with. So A union B, so let's shade in A union B, so it's A or B. So it's basically anything that is in A or B, so anything in the shaded region. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8 isn't in that section, 9, 10 isn't in the section, and we've got 11. So we've got A union B, and we've got our list there. If it was a probability, in fact we'll see a probability one after, but this one it's just working out what set it is. Okay, so next one, A intersection B, so this is the ones that fit A and B. So the crossover is this section here. So our set is going to be 1, 3, 5, 7. And because it's in section, that is going to be integers less than 8 that are also odd. Okay, and last one, A intersection not B. So the first thing we're going to do is shade in not B. So that is anything that is outside of the B circle. Okay, so that is anything outside of the B circle. So that's not B, and we're intersecting that with A. So now we're going to cross-hatch with anything in A. And we're looking for the section that is double shaded, so that is this section. So our answer to this would just be 2, 4, and 6. So the other way you can think about this is we're looking for the integers that are less than 8 and are not odd, so that is even. So integers less than 8 that are even. You can see we get 2, 4, and 6. And 8 doesn't count because that isn't less than 8, it's less than or equal to 8. Okay, so with this one, the key difference is that rather than just looking for sets now, it's P of X. So it's the probability of. So what we're going to do is work out what your set is, see how many there are. So let's say there's 6 that fit it. That is 6 out of 10. So as a probability, that would be 6/10 or 0.6. So if you're feeling confident with this, have a go. If you want to watch the first couple and then have a go, that is fine as well. So probability of X. So anything in the X circle. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 things there, so that is 6 out of 10, or 6/10 is the probability. Probability of not X, so there's 7, 8, 9, 10, fit that. So the probability of not X would be 4 out of 10, 4/10. Okay, so let's look at Y now. So P of Y, so the probability of it being in Y, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that is 5 out of 10. Simplify it down to half. We should really simplify all of these. Okay. Probability of not Y. So because we know Y and not Y are mutually exclusive, we know that they add to 1. So if P of Y is a half, we know that P of not Y is also a half. But we could also do that by looking at what not Y's, and that is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So you've got 5 out of 10, or 1/2. Okay, so now getting a little bit trickier. P of X union Y. So that is the crossover section. So that is 2, 4, 6. So we've got 3 out of 10 for that one. That is our crossover section. Right, so I'm just going to skip on to the next slide so I can do a bit more shading. So going on to G now. P of not X intersection Y. So not X is any section that isn't in the X circle. And we're looking for where that intersects with Y. So that is anything in the Y circle. So we've just got 8 and 10. So that is 2 out of 10, or 1/5. Okay, going to skip on to the next side again so I can shade. So P of X union Y says anything that is in X or in Y, or in both. So shade in all of the X and the Y's, including the crossover section as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 8, and 10. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is 8/10, 4/5. And last one, so we've got the probability of not X intersection with the probability of not Y. So let's shade in not X. So that is anything that is not in the X circle. And not Y, that is anything that is not in the Y circle. So I'm going to shade that the other direction. Okay, so looking for the bit that is double shaded, because it is intersection. The bit that is double shaded, that is everything not in a circle at all. So that is just 7 and 9. So that gives us 2 out of 10, or 1/5. And so just to summarise the key points of this lesson, we've learned 2 more types of set notation. We've got A union B, and that is anything that is in either A or B. So on the left diagram, A union B, that's anything in A or anything in B. And so that does include the crossover as well, which is A and B, but that's included in A or B happening. A intersection B, so that's anything that is just in the crossover with A and B. So that is this section here. So we've got A union B, which is kind of both shaded, or we've got A intersection B, which is just the section with the crossover bit, the intersection.